Guardians are here to fight the Foxen clan.
It's Skulk Hollow.
Woo! All right, welcome back to the Board Game Closet. My name's Jimmy.
I'm Rod.
Today we're doing a Kickstarter preview for a game that should be live right now called Skulk Hollow. This is put out by Pencil First Games, and this is a two-person combat game.
Awesome. Combat. That's what we love, guys.
Yeah, so the basic premise is that these Guardians long ago formed the world, and now they've come back to fight these Foxen creatures. And so the Foxen creatures are trying to guard their land, and then the Guardians are trying to get rid of these little foxes, you know, that are messing everything up.
Now, the first thing that pops out to me on this right here is the artwork.
Yeah,
if
it's
you look
amazing.
at the artwork, I mean, the actual bad guys themselves, I mean, you get that, like, giant bear, rock, wolf character, and then you have the giant bird guy, and
Raptor.
Then you have this giant tree that tentacles grab everywhere.
Tanthos. It's like a mixture of an octopus and a root tree
fantastic
thing. It's amazing.
Because you can reach over to other areas and grab you and stuff.
I mean, look at all these tentacles you can throw out. So these go all across the board. Yeah, it's so cool.
And then of course you have your meeples, which are, you know, these little characters that you have, and they're just, you know, they're the neat little guys. They're, you know, little forest folks, so that's pretty good. It just seems like there's a lot packaged into a small container. Mm-hmm. It's almost like an Epic game, but in a 4 times size.
Yes. So the basic premise of the game is that you're either going to play a Guardian or the Foxen clan. So you're not going to play with all of these at the same time, although that would be epic. But basically you pick one of the monsters, one of the Guardians. And so what's really cool is that each one of the Guardians play differently and have different win conditions, which is really cool. So it's not just like, oh, I got a new character and now I have to go do the same thing. No, they're totally different. Like, for instance, with the Tanthos, his goal is he has to get all of his tentacles out across the board, all of his roots out across the board. Where the Raptor, speaking of powers, the Raptor has this really cool thing where he can either be in the air or on the ground. And so it's just so cool how each one of them play a little bit differently. And what's great about that is it makes me want to go back and play all of them.
Exactly, because you basically have 5 characters you're playing. You have the 4 bad guys, and then of course you have the good guys. And then within the good guys, you've got multiple characters that are within there that have different abilities. So it's a variety every single time you play. Yeah,
and so that replayability is on both sides. It's a 2-player game, so I'm playing as the Foxen creatures against Tanthos.
Right.
Well, then the next time I want to play as Tanthos, and so it's like maybe I've played the Foxen creatures a bunch, but I haven't played them against Raptor. And so it just makes you say, okay, now I have to refigure out the puzzle on how to play you. And every time we play this game, we've said, okay, now I know what I'm going to do. Let me try this again. And I don't know, that's just really cool as far as replayability.
So we got card drafting in it, right? We play on a small 9x9 board. Keeps you going at each other, basically the combat, so things are happening all the time. There's action happening.
Yeah, it keeps it tight.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a pretty fast-moving game. And then what, 30 minutes?
30 minutes. The way you do actions is by drawing these cards, like you said. And so you draw cards. And so you might know the thing that you want to do, but if you don't have the card in your hand, you can't do it. Yeah. And at first that might aggravate you, but it really does play into that small board.
Right.
Makes me feel like it. Now, one thing that we didn't mention that is the coolest part of the game to me is that you get to go up on the Guardian. So at the beginning, you're playing on this map, but then once you leap, then you're going to move your character actually onto the Guardian, and then you move from location to location, and as you do damage, those parts of the Guardian can no longer activate. So you might have the card for swing, but you can't play it because that has been wounded, and that is so cool. Especially like with Tanthos, the only way you can put out your roots is by tunneling. Well, they could jump on them and disable the tunneling. Well, you can't win the game now because they jumped on you, and so until you mend and heal the wound. So anyway, I just thought
that is fantastic. I mean, that's a lot of the strategy in the game that changes things up. Because when you're playing one way halfway through it, then all of a sudden you lose that ability. It makes you have to try a different type of thing to do. So it just changes your strategy 100%. It is a very fun and very unique little game.
Everything I know about Pencil First, it's going to be a quality production when they come. So these meeples that are just incredibly well detailed are just going to be amazing. The artwork is going to be great. It's already great right now. Like if this was the final production copy, I actually would be incredibly happy, you know.
Definitely.
But all of these Guardians are going to be custom cut out, so it's going to be shaped,
Oh,
you
that's
know.
awesome.
So it's just, I mean, like I said, honestly, if this was the final proto, like I'm kind of sad we have to send this on,
Sure.
you know, because I would just keep it on my shelf and then skip the Kickstarter, but I can't do that. So I'll be a backer on this one day one. I really think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, I just would say, any group of players, get this game into your system.
Yep, there you go. All right, so check it out, Skulk Hollow. It's on Kickstarter right now.
All right, get out there.